dive into compelling stories about the age-old battle between the mob and the law. The Mob Museum is hosting its second annual summer movie series featuring 4 films.
That's right, and here with more about the series kicking off this Friday is the Director of Content, Jeff Schumacher. Good morning to you, Jeff. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
You ready for this summer series?
I am very excited about it.
Let's talk about it. What can we expect?
Well, we're going to show 4 different movies, each on a Friday night, starting this Friday. And each one has sort of a historical basis to it.
Okay.
And then we're going to talk about, before each movie, we're going to talk about, what parts of the movie are true, which ones are a little bit shading the truth, and embellished, yeah.
Nice. Where did the inspiration come from? It's such a good idea within the Mob Museum.
Yeah, well, I mean, movies are a big part of the mob story, right? I mean, you have the history, but people really enjoy mob movies, and so many of them are based on real events. So for us, it's only natural that we want to sort of correct the record, right, at the same time that we enjoy the movies.
Yeah.
Now, the cool thing is, I mean, pretty much all of these stories you can walk around and actually see stuff within the Mob Museum talking about this. But in one movie in particular, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, you got the wall from the massacre. You actually have it there.
That movie
That's
is
so cool.
Obviously very near and dear to our heart, right? Because we have the bricks from the wall where the St. Valentine's Day Massacre occurred in Chicago in 1929.
And you can see the bullet holes and everything.
You have the blemishes from the bullets, absolutely. It's our premier artifact.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And within the Mob Museum, I mean, this is obviously the summer series you guys have going on, but what's been the response from the viewers? It's your second annual.
Yeah, so the first one, we had, I think, a very good response, and we did something a little different last summer. We had movies based around, they were released between 1949 and 1951, so a very narrow window.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was a very, again, tied to our museum, they were kind of revolved around the Kefauver hearings. And the Kefauver hearings were an investigation of organized crime in America, that very high profile, and they were one of the first things ever televised live on television.
Incredibly
so
captivating.
it's pretty interesting. And so all these movies were inspired by the Kefauver hearings. So those had a sort of almost an academic kind of feel to them.
Yeah.
We were like, we're looking at a snapshot of history. But this year, we're going a little bit more contemporary, a little bit more mainstream with them, but they're still historically based.
A little more Hollywood.
Yes, absolutely. The Kefauver hearings, you learn a lot about those in the Mob Museum as well.
Absolutely. And of course, the reason I mention that is our courtroom on the second floor is where one of the Kefauver hearings was held in 1950.
It's unbelievable. We're taking a look at some of the movies that'll be there. Hoffa, The Untouchables. It's, I mean, really, this is quite the treat.
I just watched Bugsy again the other night, just to sort of refresh myself on it. And it's a great movie. Some of the historical facts have been shaded or embellished or changed around, but it doesn't really change the story of Bugsy Siegel being a key player in the growth of Las Vegas, right? So it's, I think, of interest to to lots of people.
And to know the history of our town, right? I mean, it's education. Is this a family event? I mean, the ratings on these, I'm not sure it's always appropriate for the kids, but you want
I mean,
the
probably
families
not
to come.
little kids, but I mean, it's the same, you'd use the same judgment as you would as a parent taking them to the movie theater.
Right.
So, some of these have some violence in them, some of them have a little bit of sex appeal to them, but they're not overt, they're not, crazy. Crazy problem for teenagers, let's say.
Of course, it's a learning experience.
Yeah, that's right.
There we go. Have their first one. This is part of the museum. It's a good thing.
Exactly.
I mean, really, learning is what the Mob Museum is all about. Like when you walk into the Mob Museum, if you haven't been, you have got to go.
Really
You are hit with a ton of information. I mean, it doesn't. If you're from Boston, where I am, or you're from Rhode Island, the Petrarca family, or Chicago, or any real part of the country, there is a story to be told about your part of the country and how the mob played a part in your part of the country.
Absolutely, and it's a national story. It's not just about Las Vegas. I think a lot of people think the museum might be just about the mob in Las Vegas.
And there's plenty to talk about.
Plenty there, and we have a lot of that, but it's a national story. It's actually an international story even, and we try to hit all the big cities and all of the big things that happen in each city.
Right there in downtown, a good location.
Yeah, that's 2 blocks off of Fremont Street, so we get a lot of walk-in traffic as well as people who plan ahead.
Awesome. How much are tickets to go see the movies?
Well, if you're a local, if you're from Nevada, it's $13.95. So you basically buy a ticket to the museum and you can go.
And that pays for it.
Nice.
You can go to the movie.
For all 4 films? each week, or is it for each film
For each
separately?
film, each time you come.
$13.
Gotcha.
That's great.
That's phenomenal.
And what's the seating like? Like,
Yeah,
what are we
where
going to
is
get
this being-
inside?
So the movies are shown in our courtroom,
Oh,
which
that's
is a
awesome.
great setting, right?
That's
So
great.
you feel like you're in a historic courtroom, which you
Very
are,
cool.
and you get to watch the movies there. And we have popcorn and drinks and all the things that, food. So, it feels like you're going to the movie theater,
Yeah.
but you're going into one of those old historic theaters, right? Almost.
That's
What
so
an
cool.
experience.
So there's a lot of history surrounding you as you watch these historic films.
And for a lot of these summer movie series, across the valley, it's like, bring your chairs, bring your blankets, but you don't need that for the
No,
mock
we have
museum.
seating available.
Yeah,
Sure.
seating
Chairs
is
are there.
available, and
There we go.
can you or can you not bring your own food?
I don't think it'd be advisable, but I
Okay.
mean, somebody might sneak something in, but
Like the
generally,
movie theater.
I would say no, we have food available for you there.
Yeah.
And so it's not so much a camping out on the lawn kind of a thing, it's more of an inside experience.
And if you're really unlucky, they'll sit you in the barber chair that they have. It's great having you.
Thank you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Again, catch the Mob Museum's Summer Movie Series each Friday in July. It is absolutely free to attend with museum admission and free for all museum members. For more information, just call the number or head to the website you see right there on your screen.
And stick